Lies, lies, and exposure. That is what the reaction show today, brought to you by Huel, is all about. Lies from the mainstream media, attacks from the middle-class media to the working-class fans. It's so bad for our game. Plus, I've told you in the Football Terrace community for years, don't trust the nameless, faceless accounts on TikTok, X, even in the comment section where they're constantly harping on, even if they're bigging a club up. Don't ever trust them, and I'm going to show you why. A massive Liverpool and Arsenal exposure on that. Plus, never diminish trophies and never try rewriting history when it comes to achievements that your club or anybody else's club has made. Loads to talk about. Loads to delve into on the show today, but hit the like button, make sure you're subscribing, and go and check out Huel, the most nutritious meals, especially if you're on the go and you've got a busy life. You can get £10 off your first order by scanning the QR code on the screen or clicking the link below. But let's take a look here at what Tim Howard has had to say.
I think they've spent money for Manchester United in certain places, and like ultimately the criticism of ownership from fans, any club, but when you look at Manchester United, it's oftentimes one-sided. The Glazers own a football club, and
what do you mean it's one-sided? Why would the owners protest the fans?
That in turn is a business. And what I've always said, because I am an owner of a football club, when you spend your billions to own a business, you have the right to run it in any way you want.
First of all, the sort of disregarding of fans because he owns a football club, the arrogance is astounding. The stench is ridiculous. But I'm not surprised to see this from out-of-touch multi-millionaires who have no idea about the foundation. He just doesn't. He clearly has no idea about the foundations of English football. And I'm sure it's the same in Spain, the same in France, the same in most parts of the world. These clubs are built by the working classes. And they are not just businesses to run as businesses. The idea is to run them as a business, to try and make them as profitable as possible, to then invest that into the football, to make it the best football team possible. That's the end goal, not to make profits out of the club for yourself. And the idea that the Glazers have pumped billions into Manchester United is an outright lie. They've put not one singular penny in. They've extracted billions through debt payments and dividends. And beIN Sport and the mainstream media for 20 years have lied about this. 20 years. Whether it's Simon Jordan, who we'll get onto later, Gary Lineker, who goes out for dinner with the Glazers. You see it here right at this moment with Tim Howard and beIN Sport. The fact that this was even allowed to be published, it is false information. It is not correct. Not a single penny from the Glazers has gone into this football club. And the idea that you can just treat a club how you want because you bought it, I think is horrendous to the culture of football in England and anywhere around the world. Horrendous. But it's not the only time. It's not the only time this week that football fans have been lied about, the situations about their club sort of dismissed as not important. Simon Jordan has done the same thing. And we're going to take a look at that in just a moment. Before that, listen, it's so important to try and stay as healthy as possible, but it's hard. When you live a normal life, when you've got to work, when you've got kids, when you don't have time to breathe, it's difficult to follow that sort of Instagram, TikTok, healthy lifestyle where you're prepping food 3 or 4 times a day. Who's got the time for that? I certainly don't. So yes, I eat fruit, I eat veg, I eat the right types of meat as and when I can, but sometimes you're on the go, sometimes you are busy. And this is where Huel comes in. And this for me is the go-to meal, okay? It is a new black edition. My favorite flavor is chocolate. But this here, it's got somewhere in the region of about 170 nutrition benefits for you. It's full of vitamins, it's full of minerals. It helps to reduce fatigue. And it really tastes nice as well. So it just tastes like a chocolate milkshake. So it's very, very tasty, but it's a full and complete meal for you to have. Now, these are quite expensive if you go into a shop. £4 and £5 on the shelves in supermarkets. If you go into a convenience store, they're about £6 in some places. You can get it for as little as £3.40 if you scan that QR code and use our promo code Football10 to get yourself a nice discount. Plus, it's just cheaper online. So if you're like me and you're on a health kick throughout the course of 2025, that's the year we're in, check out Huel now, get your discount, get it ordered. Trust me, you will not be disappointed.
No.
But I want to move on from what he said. I want to take a look here at Mark Goldbridge, because this addresses Simon Jordan. Simon Jordan has slammed the 1958 protest. He has slammed Chelsea fans for the idea of protesting. Tottenham fans alike. He went at Arsenal fans over KSE years ago. This is being so pompous, so self-righteous with this is unbelievable. He's called it out. He said that we're self-entitled, that says that we are self-entitled and that we feel like the world owes us a living, basically. But listen here to what Mark Goldbridge has said back.
When I was at TalkSport, I constantly said, get me on the breakfast show, get me on the Simon Jordan show. I'd love to do it. I think people would be interested in it. I'd love to do it. The answer was always no, no, no. And it got to the point I said, why? He doesn't want to do it. And I'm like, so he wants to cast opinion on everything. He wants to slag me off on the show and call me a bedroom blogger, but won't give me the opportunity to go head-to-head with him. No, he won't do it. He won't do it. But he's more than happy to get Steve from the 58 on and absolutely bury him in an ambush. So, you know what? Cowards. Coward sport. You know, it's a joke. This is so, so important. And these are the things that I would say to that if I'd have been on it, off the top of my head. So let's start off with...
And you can go and check this out. It's on the United Stand. It's on their X page. Go and check it out and listen to the whole thing. I love here that Goldbridge has called out Simon Jordan and slammed him. Now, you may not be a fan of Mark Goldbridge for any particular reason, but what he's talking about holds true. The fact is, they had a gentleman on from the 1958, and look, I don't know the person's background. They're not like Mark, who is, been broadcasting for years, very comfortable on camera or, comfortable in that environment. And they really did ambush the guy. They really pulled the rug from under his feet, came at him from multiple angles. It was about trying to catch him out rather than listen and understand to what it was that he was saying. But the fact that Simon Jordan, as Mark has said here, cowardly refused ever to have a conversation with him regarding this situation should tell you all you need to know. And this is now a direct message to Man United fans. You've seen how Simon Jordan has treated the 1958 protest and project in recent days. How they have belittled every fan who has bemoaned the malpractice of the Glazers for the last 20 years. You've also seen them echo that view across multiple other sides. There's a video we played earlier where Tim Howard talks about the Glazers pumping their billions into the club. But this has been a constant message from ex-players like Tim Howard, the broadcasters like BN Sport. Gary Lineker, who started blaming Fergie the other day, is a man who wines and dines with the Glazers and has always said that fans are entitled for moaning about the ownership of the club. The media's not on your side. This is why when it comes to other negative stories about the club, some of which, of course, will end up being true, but don't side with the mainstream media. Don't let the fox in the henhouse. They have not got you or your club's interest at their best interest at heart. They haven't. And when it comes to Man United, they care nothing about us. They only jump on the Glazer stories every now and then. When it's fashionable, they parrot something that a Mark Goldbridge or the 1958 project or Stephen Howson says, pass it off as their own thoughts, and everyone goes, oh, yeah, look, Sky have got our backs. TalkSport have got our backs. No, they don't. By and large, they couldn't care less. So stop siding with the mainstream media against the football club, because they don't care one iota about any aspect of the club. Not one. If they did, they wouldn't side with and push propaganda for the Glazers. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. Now, moving on from this, look, we're going to come back to Liverpool in a moment, right? We're going to come back to Liverpool in a moment. But there's something I want to call out something I want to call out kind of based on last night. And I hope I didn't label these. I need to find the right one. That's not the one. This is it here. This Arsenal fan said, this is what I call luck. Liverpool winning 1-0 in a game they should have lost 5-0. I've never seen anything like this. I don't like Liverpool being called lucky last night. The Man United fan in me wants to say it. The Man United fan wants to go lucky and dismiss it. First of all, this bloke is an Arsenal account. The irony, I remember very vividly Arsenal doing this in one of the most prestigious and historic competitions in the history of football. 2005 FA Cup final against Manchester United. United outclassed Arsenal for most of the game and extra time. Ended up losing on penalties. This is what happens when you're a top quality team who can maintain its composure during adversity, as that Arsenal team in that period of their history could. So you've won trophies and celebrated them. You wouldn't have called that luck, okay? Or maybe some, again, rivals would. I just call it keeping you cool. Goalkeepers having great performances, defenders standing up, and then when you get your moment to pounce, when there's the opportunity to land that knockout blow, you did it. That was a Man United fan. Yeah, on the day I called you lucky. There's no doubt I did. But I was also in my early 20s then. I'm now nearly 40, far more mature. It isn't luck. It's quality of a team, especially when teams like Liverpool seem to do it so regularly. Just my view when it comes to that. However, this kind of war between Liverpool and Arsenal is really picking up speed. And I don't think that every Liverpool fan is fearful of Arsenal. So I've already said that. So Lulu, I know you're watching because you're going to leave a comment, Lulu. I ain't talking about you because I know you're not. So don't get triggered. But I saw this post on socials. And it was called out by the Cop Watch, who called out this Arsenal fan, Steve, who said, tried to enjoy the 7-1 away win in Europe. Then I see Lewis Hall is out of the Carabao Cup final. I don't think I've ever hated a team more, right? And this was all about Liverpool Watch and the Cop Watch here saying, you know, Liverpool are winning away in the Champions League and you know what's on their mind? Us, right? We've ruined it. We're living in their mind rent-free. And I saw this tweet and just thought, my first thought was, whoever this Arsenal fan is, pathetic. Pathetic. But then they got exposed. This is the exposure I spoke about at the top of the video. Turns out, this is a Liverpool fan who, for whatever reason, changed his name to Steve Arteta, right? But you can see in his bio it says Slotter. He has himself marked as Anfield. And then somebody went into his replies. He's a Liverpool fan. He was talking about, like, he put a tweet out saying, what do you want to see, like, come back? And the Klopp Watch said Liverpool. And he's like, yeah, 100%. He's a Liverpool fan. This is why I always say to people, we get questions on our podcast all the time. Terry, what do you make of this claim made by a Man United fan? Oh, what? United Clara. United Dominic. With no face, no name. Never hear their voice. I don't take these people. I honestly do not believe, and this is for all clubs, I don't believe 90% of the Twitter accounts to any particular club are even fans. The ones where it's like no name, no face. I don't even think they support that club. I actually think some of these people own 5, 6, 7 different accounts for each club and just tweet the same type of stuff for each. It's just a nonsense. So for me, I'm going to make a more concerted effort moving forward to try not to bring those types of opinions and views into the Football Terrace community as talking points. If it's something being said by someone with a real name, with their face or on camera, we'll discuss it. But those kind of tweets, those kind of interactions are gone because it's proven here that it's fans of rivals writing like they support other clubs to embarrass that club. And for me, I think that must be called out. Now, speaking of calling things out,
forward to it. It has been a remarkable season.
I didn't mean to play that. Let's take I've got to call this out. Let's take a little listen to this here.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It has been a remarkable season for Liverpool, to the point where there are now people talking about this potential mini treble that you could win. How are you managing
that comment there? Potential mini treble. We did a whole segment on the difference between a treble and the treble last week. This idea that Man United invented the phrase in 1999, debunked. It's existed as a recognised achievement since 1967, but it was something that has been around forever in the footballing world, but nobody did it until 1967, but it's been recognised since then when Celtic did it. In fact, they actually did the quad that year because they have 2 domestic trophies like England, and that is recognised. There was another group of posts. This wasn't the only one. Mini treble, the gaslighting job by United fans have done since 1992 to wipe out all memory of football pre-1992 is immaculate. We were literally the first English team to win 3 major trophies in one season. The problem here with these claims is no one's done any gaslighting, and the only person trying to undo football history is a select group of Liverpool fans here, and it's a disgrace. And do you know how you know this? First of all, the double exists. The double is a real thing. And the double has been around as an achievement since 1889. So a good 100 years before this claim that United gaslit football, the double was a thing. Preston did it first in 1989. The next team to do it was in the 60s with Spurs. And it has been and always will be a rarity. But the double in association football, professional football, is the achievement of winning a country's top-tier division and the primary domestic cup competition in the same year. That has been the definition for over 100 years. So the treble is the double with the primary European competition added to it. So the treble can't be Premier League, FA Cup, Europa League. It can't be Premier League, FA Cup, Conference League. It can't be Championship, Europa League, FA Cup. It has to be, and always has been, Prem or Division 1 back in the day, FA Cup, Champions League, European Cup, UCL, whichever phrase you want to use. The treble is 3 things. And this has been recognised by you. This is from UEFA's website. This has been recognised as an achievement since 1967. You can win 3 trophies in a campaign. You can win a treble of trophies. You can do a domestic treble. There's all variations of trebles. You can do it. If Chelsea this season had won the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup and the Conference League, you could call it a treble, a mini treble. 3 trophies. It is not the treble. The same as, and this is how I know these Liverpool want their achievements this season, if they get all 3, to be propped up higher than they are. And I think these Liverpool fans are doing a discredit to the history of football, which is crazy because you're trying to make history. But when Liverpool were going for the quad, it's called the quad because it's the highest league title, both domestic trophies, and the highest European trophy. Liverpool fans would not accept next season if Man United won the Premier League, FA Cup, League Cup, and Europa. They wouldn't allow it to be called the quad. They wouldn't, because it isn't. And no Man United fan worth their salt would do that. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. And I think it has to be called out by football fans because history matters. We cannot be rewriting history. This Liverpool team is amazing. Best team in the world. Going to win the Premier League. My favourites to win the Champions League. And I'll congratulate them for it. But what I will not stand back and allow without challenge is for the history of football that's over 100 years old to be rewritten for this Liverpool team and slot. There is only one the treble, and it is documented across FIFA, UEFA, and association football. It cannot be rewritten on Twitter. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Make sure you go and check out Huel. As I already mentioned, a fantastic product, brilliant meals, very nutritious, helps you throughout the course of your day, and that's very, very key to me. So scan the QR code that's on the screen or click on the link in our description below to get £10 off your first order. Until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and I'll see you soon.